Rock and roll is a genre of popular music that originated in the United States during the late 1940s and early 1950s. It is characterized by a strong rhythm, simple melodies, and the use of electric guitars. This genre represented a significant departure from the music styles that preceded it. The roots of rock and roll can be traced to earlier genres such as blues, jazz, and gospel music. These genres contributed to the unique sound of rock and roll, blending elements like rhythm, harmony, and vocal styles. This fusion created a new energetic sound that appealed to young audiences. The 1950s marked the official birth of rock and roll, a time when it began to gain mainstream popularity. Artists like Bill Haley and his Comets, with hits like Rock Around the Clock, brought rock and roll into the public eye. This era laid the foundation for future rock legends. Chuck Berry emerged as a pioneering figure in rock and roll, particularly known for his guitar playing. His innovative techniques and charismatic performances set the standard for rock guitarists. Songs like Johnny B. Goode showcased his ability to blend rhythm and blues with rock and roll's emerging sound. Elvis Presley, often referred to as the king of rock and roll, played a crucial role in popularizing the genre. His dynamic voice, stage presence, and unique blend of musical influences captivated audiences worldwide. Hits like Heartbreak Hotel and Hound Dog made him an enduring icon in rock and roll history. Little Richard's flamboyant style and energetic performances brought a new sense of excitement to rock and roll. His hit songs like To Be Frutty and Good Golly Miss Molly broke racial barriers and influenced countless musicians. Known for his dynamic stage presence, he forever changed the landscape of popular music. Radio and DJs also played a crucial role in the rise of rock and roll. By spinning records from emerging rock artists, they introduced the genre to a wider audience. Iconic DJs like Alan Freed helped popularize rock music, making it accessible to teenagers across America and creating a cultural phenomenon. The British invasion of the 1960s marked a significant turning point in rock history. British bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones brought a fresh sound to the American music scene, blending rock with other styles. This invasion reshaped the genre and fueled a new wave of creativity. The Beatles revolutionized rock music with their innovative songwriting and diverse musical influences. Their experimentation with different genres and recording techniques set new standards. Songs like Hey Jude and Let It Be became timeless classics, cementing their legacy as one of the greatest bands in rock history. The Rolling Stones embodied the rebellious spirit of rock and roll. Known as the Bad Boys of Rock, their raw sound and provocative lyrics captivated audiences. With hits like Satisfaction and Paint It Black, they pushed boundaries and left an indelible mark on the genre, influencing generations of musicians. Bob Dylan and the Byrds brought a refreshing change to rock music with the emergence of folk rock. Dylan's lyrical depth and acoustic sound, combined with the Byrds' jangly guitars, created a unique blend. This genre bridged the gap between traditional folk music and the electric energy of rock and roll. The late 1960s saw the rise of the psychedelic era, characterized by experimental sounds and mind-altering experiences. Bands like the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane explored new musical landscapes, incorporating unconventional instruments and effects. This era reflected the countercultural movement, with music becoming a vehicle for social and political expression. The Doors and Jimi Hendrix significantly influenced the psychedelic rock scene. The Doors' dark poetic lyrics and haunting melodies, paired with Hendrix's revolutionary guitar techniques, pushed musical boundaries. Their innovative styles resonated with audiences, creating an enduring legacy that continues to inspire musicians and fans alike. The Woodstock Festival of 1969 became a cultural milestone, symbolizing peace, love, and music. Featuring iconic performances from artists like Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix, the festival showcased the power of rock music to unite people. Woodstock remains a defining moment in rock history, embodying the spirit of the 1960s counterculture. The decline of psychedelic rock began in the early 1970s as the music industry's focus shifted. The genre's experimental nature gave way to more structured and commercially viable sounds. However, the psychedelic era left a lasting impact, influencing future musical styles and cementing its place in the annals of rock history. The early 1970s saw the birth of heavy metal, a genre characterized by amplified distortion, extended guitar solos, and overall loudness. Bands like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple laid the foundational sounds, combining elements of blues, rock, and psychedelic rock. This era marked a shift towards darker, more intense themes in music. Led Zeppelin emerged as pioneers of hard rock and metal, blending blues influences with powerful guitar riffs and Robert Plant's iconic vocals. Their innovative approach to songwriting and stage performance set new standards. Albums like Led Zeppelin IV became instant classics, solidifying their status as rock legends. David Bowie became the face of glam rock, a genre marked by flamboyant costumes and theatrical performances. His alter ego, Ziggy Stardust, captivated audiences with a blend of rock, pop, and science fiction. Bowie's influence extended beyond music, impacting fashion and popular culture for decades. The mid-1970s saw the rise of punk rock, a reaction against the perceived excesses of mainstream rock. Bands like the Ramones and the Sex Pistols delivered raw, fast-paced music with rebellious lyrics. Punk's DIY ethos empowered a generation, fostering a sense of individuality and nonconformity. Disco's ascent in the late 1970s led to a cultural clash with rock. While disco dominated dance floors with its infectious beats, rock fans saw authenticity and grit. This period saw heated debates and even public demonstrations, epitomized by the infamous Disco Demolition Night in 1979. The rise of disco in the 1970s created a cultural clash with rock, as dance beats in glitzy fashion became mainstream. Rock purists viewed disco as a threat to authentic musical expression, leading to events like the infamous Disco Demolition Night, where rock fans expressed their disdain for the genre. The late 1970s saw the emergence of new wave and post-punk, both diverging from traditional rock. New wave brought a quirky electronic feel, while post-punk offered a darker, more introspective sound. Bands like Talking Heads and Joy Division became icons, pushing boundaries and redefining rock's essence. MTV revolutionized the music industry in the 1980s by turning music videos into a powerful promotional tool. Rock bands quickly adapted, using the visual medium to enhance their music. Iconic videos from artists like Duran Duran and Van Halen became essential viewing, solidifying MTV's influence on rock culture. Michael Jackson's crossover appeal bridged the gap between rock and pop. His collaborations with rock guitarists, such as Eddie Van Halen on Beat It, showcased his versatility. Jackson's ability to blend genres expanded rock's audience, making it more accessible and commercially successful. U2 and REM emerged as influential bands in the 1980s, bringing depth and introspection to rock music. U2's anthems, driven by Bono's impassioned vocals and the Edge's distinctive guitar sound, resonated globally. REM's poetic lyrics and jangly guitars captivated fans, cementing their legacy in rock history. Hair metal bands like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi dominated the 1980s with their flashy outfits, big hair, and anthemic songs. Their music combined hard rock riffs with catchy melodies, appealing to a broad audience. These bands filled arenas and became iconic symbols of excess and rock star lifestyle. The early 1990s saw a dramatic shift with the grunge movement, characterized by its raw sound and flannel-clad musicians. Nirvana, led by Kurt Cobain, became the voice of a disillusioned generation. Their success marked a departure from the polished glam of the 80s, favoring authenticity and emotional depth. Pearl Jam and Soundgarden emerged as key players in the grunge scene, each bringing a unique sound. Pearl Jam's introspective lyrics and Soundgarden's heavy riffs resonated deeply with fans. Together, they solidified Seattle as the epicenter of grunge, influencing countless bands and shaping the decade's musical landscape. As grunge's initial wave began to wane, alternative rock rose to prominence in the mid-1990s. Bands like Radiohead and Smashing Pumpkins pushed musical boundaries, blending genres and experimenting with new sounds. This era celebrated diversity in rock, giving rise to a multitude of subgenres and innovative artists. Oasis, with their Britpop anthems, took the world by storm. The rivalry with Blur captivated fans and media alike, fueling the Britpop movement. Oasis' blend of rock with British cultural references resonated internationally, making them one of the defining bands of the 90s and revitalizing British rock on the global stage. Oasis emerged in the mid-1990s, leading the Britpop movement that emphasized British cultural themes and rivaled American grunge. Their debut album, Definitely Maybe, and subsequent release, What's the Story, Morning Glory, catapulted them to superstardom, characterized by catchy melodies and Gallagher brothers' infamous sibling rivalry. The late 1990s saw the rise of nu metal, blending heavy metal with genres like hip-hop and grunge. Bands like Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit gained massive popularity, delivering aggressive riffs, turntable scratches, and angsty lyrics that resonated with a youthful audience disillusioned by mainstream pop. In the early 2000s, the garage rock revival brought raw, stripped-down sounds back into vogue. The White Stripes, with their minimalist approach and distinct red-white-black aesthetic, helped spearhead this movement. The Strokes also gained acclaim for their gritty, retro-inspired rock, revitalizing interest in the genre. The evolution of indie rock in the 2000s saw a blend of diverse influences, from folk to electronic music. Bands like Arcade Fire and Vampire Weekend offered innovative sounds and thought-provoking lyrics. This genre's DIY ethic and online presence helped cultivate a dedicated fanbase, distinct from mainstream rock. Music festivals like Coachella and Glastonbury have played a pivotal role in modern rock. These events provide platforms for emerging artists and reunite legendary bands, creating unique experiences for fans. The festival's eclectic lineups and massive audiences underscore rock's enduring appeal and adaptability in contemporary music culture. Indie rock has continually evolved, blending diverse influences to create a unique soundscape. Bands like Arctic Monkeys and Vampire Weekend have defined the genre, pushing creative boundaries. This evolution reflects a broader cultural shift, as indie rock embraces both nostalgia and innovation, ensuring its relevance in contemporary music. The digital age has revolutionized how we experience rock music, with streaming services making it more accessible than ever. Websites and apps have democratized music distribution, allowing independent artists to reach global audiences. This shift has transformed the industry, enabling a broader range of voices to be heard. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stands as a testament to the genre's rich history. By honoring influential artists and preserving their legacies, it educates new generations about rock's cultural impact. The Hall of Fame ensures that the genre's pioneers are remembered and celebrated for their contributions. The future of rock and roll is as dynamic as its past. Emerging technologies and changing listener preferences continue to shape its direction. While the genre evolves, its core spirit of rebellion and innovation remains intact. Rock and roll will undoubtedly adapt, continuing to inspire and resonate with audiences worldwide.